In this video, I'm going to show you about this breaking news that the CME Group is reintroducing single stock futures this summer. So I'm going to explain to you what they are, how they compare to options and normal stocks, and give you some of the pros and the cons of it. So let's get right into it. So the CME Group have dropped an announcement a couple days ago, about 5 days ago, I think, on February 10th, that they are going to be reintroducing single stock futures. Okay, coming this summer. So they haven't put a specific date, but be on the lookout. Anytime from May, June, July, area, August of this year. So what are single stock futures? All right, so in simple terms, a single stock future lets you control 100 shares of one specific stock at a set price on a future date, similar to how futures NQ and ES work. So think of it like this. Think of it like this. It's a way to control 100 shares of a stock without paying the full price up front. So instead of buying, let's say, 100 shares outright, you pay a small percentage of the full cost, aka margin, to get full movement of the stock, giving you leverage. Okay, so like a stock like Apple or whatever the case may be. Normally, for 100 stocks, I'm sorry, for 100 shares, you're gonna pay a pretty penny. And I'm gonna show you an example right now. All right, so give you a visual of what you're gonna need for it. All right, because a lot of questions surrounding what is stock futures and all of this. So all right, here's some examples, right? So currently, Netflix is going for $77, right? So in order to own 100 shares of Netflix outright with your own cash, right, you would need about $7,700 because its current price is $77, right? So 77 times 100 is $7,700, right? But with the new single stock futures under margin, you would be able to own that same 100 shares for as low as $1,100, a little over $1,100 as of right now. Okay, because with most brokers, they all have their own margin requirements. Some can be higher, some can be lower. But I'm gonna go with the average, and the average is between 15% and 30%, right? So put simply, the amount you need is these amounts over here, right? All right, another example is coin. Its current going rate is about $165 per share. So you would need 2,400, about 2,500 bucks, and you can trade up to 100 shares of coin. Okay, and so you may be saying, okay, well, why would I want to do that compared to options or other instruments? And I'm gonna get into that too. Okay, so how you may say, how is it different from just buying the actual stock? Well, again, if you buy the actual stock, you're gonna spend a whole lot more than this. So coin is going for $165 a share. You would be paying 16,500 to own them same 100 shares. Same thing with Apple. It's $255 per share right now. You would be, if you want to own that same 100, you need 25,500. But with the new single futures, you'll need way less. Okay, so let's get into the some comparisons here, right? So let me give you some examples on a return basis, right? So with the single stock futures, you will gain the same dollar for dollar amount as if you owned the stock. However, your percentage return will be a lot higher because you're only using a fraction of what you normally would use. So here's an example. Let's say a stock moves 3% intraday. So on a $200 stock, it moves $6, right, during the course of the day. All right. So with normal stock, you would have to put up. Well, if you had $10,000 in it, you would make $600 profit for because it moves $6, and so $600 would be the profit of $6, or a 6% return, right? But for the single stock futures, being that you only have to put up a fraction of the cost, you only have to put up $4,000 to own that same amount of shares. Your profit would be 600 because the stock moves $6. However, your return is a lot higher. It's 15% because it's on a smaller amount of money that you had to use. So your percentage gain goes up big time compared to just owning a stock, right? And so another comparison is for at the money calls. A lot of people are wondering, okay, how is this different from options? So options is still the big player in the game because you need a lot less money to make a lot. So if you were to get a at the money call, a 200 strike, you can stand to make about anywhere from $300 to $600. And it could be even more or less if IV and other factors play in. But 60 to 120% return. Okay, so you may be wondering, okay, well then why would I want to trade single stock futures over options? And that's a great question. Let me give you some examples here real quickly. So here's a couple pros and cons of it. All right, so for single stock futures, right, the main draw is no PDT rule, right? That's one of the main draws. All right, so no PDT. You can trade as much as you want. So you're not limited by how much cash you have in the account. You can trade as much as you want as long as you stay over your margin requirement. Okay. Number two, you get leverage. With less capital needed to trade larger stocks. As opposed to just trading. With with the full amount. All right, and then also here's a big one too. No time decay or IV crush for day trading. So you can hold the stock until it makes your move without worrying about theta decay, right? So if you trade options, you know exactly what I'm talking about here, right? Where you can get the move right, but if you got the timing wrong or if it's choppy in the middle of the day, you may buy a at the money or just out of the money call or put, and you lose value on it because it didn't move in a timely manner. Well, you don't have to worry about that with single stock futures, right? So if the move takes all day, you just stay in the trade until it makes its move. As long as it doesn't hit your stop loss or take profit, you can hold it until it gets to where you want it to go, and then get out for a dollar for dollar profit without worrying about theta decay. So that's to me is one of the biggest draws if you wanted to compare options to single stock futures. Okay. And then lastly, the full you get the well, which I basically just explained. You get the full directional movement, dollar for dollar. So with options, that's not always the case. It can be the case, but you have the Greeks that can hold that out of the equation, right? So, but with options, I'm sorry, with single stock futures, every dollar that the stock moves, you get that. So if a stock every dollar that a stock moves, you make $100 because you're controlling 100 shares of that stock. So every dollar that a stock moves, you're making $100. Okay, making or losing. So keep that in mind. All right. So the cons, like many margin leverage instruments, you can lose more than you put in, causing a margin call. Okay, you can lose more than you put in. Just keep that in mind. It's not all about you're not always gonna win, and so you have to keep that in mind. Okay, and so versus when you're buying options, you can only lose the amount that you paid for the premium if you're buying options. So keep that in mind. So like overnight gaps and things like that is something you definitely got to pay attention to when trading these new single stock futures. Okay, and yeah, so that's pretty much all I got for you. So again, they're gonna be rolling it out later this year, around summer. It's gonna They say there's gonna likely be the Magnificent Seven to start with, so that'll be the Tesla, the Netflix, the Coins, the Apples, Microsoft, Google, AVGO, Nvidia. Those stocks will be the ones that will be rolling it out. Okay, so if you are interested in this content and you liked what you saw, please go ahead and hit that like button for me. I put out videos like this to keep you up to date with things that are happening in the market. I keep my ear to the market, so I'm usually one of the first to break these new developments. I will leave a link down in the description for your reference for the source of this content on the CME's website. All right, and also if you want to join a free trading community where other like-minded traders are and everybody's after the same goal, we're here for you. The free Discord link is down in the description. You are free and welcome to join us along and come along for the journey where we all gonna prosper. Also, if you want to better your trading results, I'll have a book also down in the description. It's on Amazon. It's How to Day Trade. If you want to improve your day trading skills, I'm from a 14-year trader. I'm 14 years in the game, so you'll learn a lot from that experience. Go ahead and get that book and